Okay. Go live. All right. This is a lot. I'm serious. It's like I got go live here, and go live here. Like what?
That's
Hey
all I'm hearing you
everybody.
say is go live. Okay.
Hey, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Biz Chat Daily. We took some time off on Friday because life happens, right? But we're back, and today we're going to be talking about branding again. And where has branding gone? Where has the brand specialist gone? Where has the business coaches gone? Because it kind of seems like everybody is kind of
Right.
doing the same thing. So that's what we're going to talk about today. My name is Tracy V. Allen. I'm an impact strategist, and with me I have Londyn Nikole, who is a brand strategist. So together we make a perfect team of helping you to fix your brand, fix your marketing, and get to the money, right? Because that's what I'm interested in, getting to the money, right? And all of these things are encompassed in helping you to get to the money. So, all right, Londyn, you want to take us in?
Yeah. So good morning, everybody. I was the reason we had Friday. Listen, trying to even get it out. I sounded horrible, but happy Monday. Happy Monday. Listen, I feel like Tracy loves the money. I love branding. I love knowing about people's vision and mission. And so again, the conversation today is where has branding went? Where are the business coaches, again, like Tracy said, and what is the forecasting into like 2025? And if you are working in branding or marketing or your business, let's just at least say 2025 to 2030. I mean, can we just
Mhm.
at least give it 5 years? My God, because you need at least 5 years to have a brand.
Mhm.
Me personally, Tracy, I think what you said at the end was just exactly what it is. I think everybody has got lost in the sauce. And I think, I don't know, have you seen, I know we talked about it before. I don't think you've seen it. I don't want to speak for you. The
Mhm.
Martha Stewart documentary on Netflix.
No, I have not. I've heard about it. I've seen clips, but I have not watched the entire thing.
Got you. So it was a clip she recently did, and she was basically, somebody was asking her like, how did she deal with imposter syndrome? And she was like,
Mhm.
what are you talking about?
What
She
is
was
that?
like, she was like, what are you talking about? She's like,
Mhm.
first of all, if you're an entrepreneur or a business owner, that's not, you shouldn't even know what that word is. That's not even in your category. Like, what are you doing? You don't have the time to be, and she's like, I don't know what that is. She was like, you know what I mean? And so it just made me kind of go back to me and your conversations, Tracy,
Mhm.
when we were like, yo, you have so much time now to just scroll, to just look online, to do all these types of things, and you're not educated. It's like
Mhm.
everybody's calling themselves a title to someone else, thinking that we all do the same thing and we all, you know what I mean, see it
Mhm.
the same.
Mhm.
What do you think about it?
Yeah, I agree. I know I've used the word imposter syndrome several times, like, but when I use it, when I go back and analyze it, because I'm a person who likes to reflect, right? So
Right.
after my day, I reflect on what happened in the day, what I could have done better, blah, blah, blah. I'm just very anal like that. I'm self-reflective, right? And I've noticed that when I've talked about imposter syndrome and I've used imposter syndrome, I use it as an excuse not to do something, right? So I'm just like, oh,
Mm,
I feel like maybe I shouldn't, or I'm not good enough, or blah, 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 blah. It's not because I really do think that I'm not good enough. It's because for whatever reason, I'm not comfortable with moving forward in that direction at that point in time. But it's not really about
mm,
self doubt about myself, because I
mm.
know to get to that next level, I actually need to do whatever it is. That's
Right,
just what it is. Like getting
right.
on this live, I could talk myself out of getting on here. There's a million things I could tell myself about getting up at 7:30 to go live. What? I could
Listen.
be having my second sleep right now, right? But I'm serious. I could
No,
be having
that's
my
real talk.
second.
That's because around this time the pillow is extra cold.
Right.
Around this time,
Exactly.
right.
So I
But
could
you
be
think, but
doing that.
yeah. Go ahead. No, because you said something. I think it was a reflecting part, and I
Yeah.
think to me it was the honesty of growth of saying,
Mhm.
"Hey, I have to go to this next level, and I need to do this." And I personally feel like if you are an imposter, you're just an imposter, and if it's
Right.
not that, then you're around people who are making you feel like you're doing too much. Because let's be
Right.
honest, we're on the team of doing too much.
Well, I
We
get
are.
accused of doing too much all the time. Because
But
if
that's what I'm
I'm
saying.
going
We're
to do
on the team
something,
of
I'm
doing
going
too
to
much.
right. I'm gonna do something to excellence. And my friends are usually like, oh my God, there you go, doing too much again. But I mean,
Listen, or
sometimes
you're
they're not
stuck
saying it
in
in a bad
perfection.
way. They're just like, oh, you come in and you upstage everybody, right? And that's a good thing, but it makes other people feel like they have imposter syndrome. It doesn't make me feel like I have imposter syndrome. It may make someone else feel like that. But if I am going to do something, I'm going to do something in excellence because that's just who I am. I'm not going to half step it. I'm not going to kind of do it if I don't want to do it. And I think that's where some of the imposter syndrome may creep in when I said, oh my God, I'm having imposter syndrome, is because I want to half step whatever it is I'm going to do because I really don't want to do it. Right. So
Right.
I use the excuse of I'm having imposter syndrome, but it's because I really don't want to give whatever activity it is 100%. But then once I get to it, seriously, sometimes it's because you're doing
Listen.
someone else a favor or it's not something you're truly interested in anymore. And you're like, oh my God, but it's not imposter syndrome. It's really your heart is not in it.
And I think that needs to be more
Mhm.
conversations than anything else. And being
Yeah.
like, okay, because again, I think branding is kind of dying, in my opinion, because I know that was like the heart of the conversation.
Mhm.
Where is branding going? Where a business coach is going?
Mhm.
Again, I think it's very connected to that. I think people think, hey, once I talk to somebody in branding, then and we work together for 3 or 6 months, then that's the end of it, not realizing it's companies, it's churches, it's nonprofits who have brand strategists on their team as like a regular job year round, because
Right.
branding is never ever done. So I think
No.
the whole conversation of once my mission is there, once my vision is there, then that's what a brand is, and then that's all that is. I really think that's how people are thinking. Once I have my colors, my pretty logo, I have my pretty fonts, I have a website up, I have my mission statement, I have my vision statement, then I have a
Mhm.
brand, not
Mhm.
realizing it has to be a strategy connected to your marketing, connected to your advertising, connected to your community, that all has to be, you know what I mean, pushed
Mhm.
out. So I really think it's a lack of education. I'm a really go on your
Most
terms. I think
definitely.
it's really a lack of education. And I think everybody's working on branding 101. And
Mhm.
that's why you have so many conversations about, oh, I'm about to rebrand. I'm about to rebrand. I'm like, if it takes
Mhm.
you 5 years to brand, how many years do you think it's going to take you to rebrand?
Mhm. And
And
really
I'm
and
like,
truly,
maybe
if we look at what's happening now, I can't remember the two companies, major companies that kind of did a rebrand, but they did a rebrand. And it's not even a rebrand. They changed their brand, right? So the logo, the things that people think about, they changed the logo, the fonts, and just kind of like their colors and everything, and said absolutely nothing. They just did it because some things don't need to be announced, right? You are still going to buy you and sometimes it takes you a while because I think they did it like 2 months ago and I just realized, wait a minute, something looks different about this brand. Right? But they still have the same brand message. They still, because that's something that people don't think about when it comes to branding is messaging.
listen,
That's part of your brand. So they still have the same brand message. They're still delivering the same quality of
can
service.
I talk
They're
about who
still
did that too?
who?
McDonald's. McDonald's. You
Yes,
don't
they did.
remember back in
I
the
worked
day,
at McDonald's.
McDonald's,
Yeah.
the M and stuff? Because I know about to say, I know you don't eat McDonald's or anything
Yeah.
like that, but so,
I haven't eaten
but
McDonald's in like 20 years.
that's what I'm saying. I was like, I know
Yeah.
you don't eat McDonald's. Y'all are gonna always hear me call Tracy like the rich aunt or the rich older sister, because she'll say something, and I told you, I realized like, oh my God, it's not that I don't like certain stuff. It's just I don't have enough money to do certain stuff. So Tracy, I'm telling you, is about the money. But McDonald's are one of those companies who did it. You looked
Mhm,
up,
mhm,
and that M had changed, their packaging had changed, they
mhm,
were going for more of a classier, cleaner look, all of their
mhm,
menus changed. They didn't do an announcement behind it, they didn't
mhm,
talk about it, and they just flipped it over.
mhm,
So
mhm.
I don't think it always has to be communicated, like you said, if your mission and your communication of and your messaging stays the same. But I really think everybody's running on branding 101, like
Yeah.
psychology 101. I think
Mhm.
everybody's really stuck on the 101, where it is just the questions of your market, your vision, your mission, and that type of thing. But yeah, McDonald's was definitely one of those companies who, you know what I mean,
Mhm.
changed their
And
stuff
that
and
they
kind
only
of
changed their visual brand. They did not change their core brand. They just changed
no.
the visual aesthetic of the brand. If you're just changing the visual aesthetic of the brand, You don't really need to make a whole campaign about the fact that you're changing the visual aesthetic of the brand. You just change it, and you may make one announcement. Hey, as you can see, we changed the look of our brand, and that's it. To me, when you truly need to rebrand is when you're changing your core message, what it is that you do within your company. So if you are just pivoting slightly, that is not a rebrand. If you're
Thank you.
doing something in the same industry, in the same atmosphere. So, like for me, when I wanted to reduce the amount of grants that I was writing, at one point I stopped grant writing altogether, right? I didn't make any announcements that I would stop grant writing. I just started focusing on the area in the social impact businesses that I wanted to now put my energy into. If
Right.
someone came to me and they wanted me to write a grant, if it was a grant I was interested in writing, I would go ahead and write the grant. Otherwise, I'll be like, no, right now I'm not taking on any grant writing clients. I will refer you to someone else.
Right.
Simple. I did not need to make an announcement. Hey guys, I'm not grant writing anymore. Why? I am still an impact strategist within the social impact industry, right? So I
Right.
can do a multitude of different things in that industry. I don't need to rebrand in order to do something else.
Agreed. Agreed. I think you just laid that out perfectly. And again,
Mhm.
I think it could just be a reintroduction. You might
Mhm.
have to reintroduce yourself, or how you
Right.
go about what you're doing has to be
Mhm.
different. I'm just like, yo, think about anything. Think about it. I kind of think as a conference where you have your name on your sticker and you go into a room. Every
Mhm.
room you go into, you're probably going to introduce yourself a little differently compared to the room that you're
Yeah.
in. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yo, think about it the same way on social media. You're not
Mhm.
going to get on TikTok and be like, hi, my name is Londyn Nikole. And like, the platform isn't built like that. As soon as
No.
you, but Instagram, you could jump on Instagram and immediately announce yourself and talk about yourself that way.
Mhm.
You get what I
Mhm.
mean? If you go to LinkedIn, you're not going to go to LinkedIn and share a biblical scripture. You're just not just going to post, you know what I mean? Unless you're a pastor who's in education and you're
Mhm.
posting a scripture to say, hey, come out to my theology class because we're going to break down what faith
Mhm.
means or something along that line. I don't think people are quite understanding that. Your social media is just like walking into different rooms. How you might have to
Mhm.
introduce yourself or tell people what you do is just going to depend on the platform,
Yeah.
because you
Yeah.
can do a lot of things in multiple ways. On Facebook, you can be a little bit more funny. Hey, this morning I dropped my kids off, spilled coffee all on myself, but I still have a consultation later. I do this, and if you want to work with me, you can. It's a little bit more relatable, family friendly, so you can
Mhm.
talk that way. So I don't think people are, again, I think they're so stuck on the vision, mission, and I think that's what branding is, and I just have to
Mhm.
write it down one time, that I think they missed the overall big picture of what it really is.
Absolutely. And I like the fact that you talked about social media is like going into different rooms, because even though I'm an impact strategist, I do focus on a few different areas when I work with clients. So if I'm going into a room and they ask me to come in to do strategic planning, I am not going to just focus on multiple streams of income, which is one of my main focuses. That is going to be all
Right.
encompassed in the strategic, if I'm going to facilitate a strategic planning session. If I'm going into the room to talk about multiple streams of income, I'm not going to go in and focus on grant writing, because that is not a sustainable multiple stream of income, right? So it's
Right.
just like, yeah, so I totally get what you're saying. And all the different platforms. That's why sometimes we try to put everything across all the platforms, and you have to be very skilled as a copywriter to create copy that can go across multiple channels, because each
Yes.
channel is kind of very specific to the type of content and the messaging that they want to hear, because of the type of people that are on different platforms. So, like in LinkedIn, you have your professional people. So, the way you brand yourself to those people are going to be more specific, and you're going to really showcase yourself as an expert in your area, right? If
Right.
you're, like you said, on Facebook, more family friendly, on TikTok, maybe a little bit more family friendly, a little bit learning. It's like a combination. To me,
It's a
TikTok is a
combination.
combination platform, depending on who's following you and what they want to hear and what they don't want to hear. I'm on TikTok right now, but I also realize that people on TikTok have very short attention spans. Sometimes they just want the mess, right? And that's it. Sometimes they don't want to hear about the facts of, running a business and whatever. Okay, so With branding, too, one of the things that I have seen happen is that a lot of people are coming out and they're selling something. They've never worked in this industry, whatever the industry is. They find something like PLR. PLR products right now are big in the branding, in the business industry, and
Right.
everybody's a digital content specialist because they got some PLR products and they're reselling them and making money from them. And they're leading a lot of people down the wrong route when it comes to that because they really don't know anything about business. They know how to be personable, but is that a brand?
Right. Your
You
personality
know?
is not a brand. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just piggyback off something you said
Your
about yourself
personality
for a second?
can become a brand, but your
Yes,
personality by
because
itself is not a brand.
what right now, as a personal brand, if it's just you, then
Mhm.
your personality is a huge part of selling it. But I agree.
Right.
And your brand has a personality, but I agree.
Mhm.
Personality alone is it's just a cute face. It's just a cute face. But let me
Right.
piggyback off something you said before about yourself. And I
Mhm.
love that you said that. And I think this is a part that people are missing in branding themselves
Mhm.
as well as their org. You just said it. Hey, yes, I am a impact strategist, right?
Mhm.
But under that, I have tier one, multiple streams of income, tier two, grants, tier three, this, tier four, that. I don't
Mhm.
think people do that enough.
Mhm.
And I think that's why a lot of people are just all over the place talking about everything in the whole nine because they
Mhm.
haven't even taken themselves and broke
Mhm.
themselves down into tiers. Hey,
Mhm.
yes, I'm great in branding, but I've
Mhm.
noticed I only do great at hypothetically branding car companies. So
Right.
car companies, I might need to work with car companies, local, and then break that down into tiers
Mhm.
because
Mhm.
all of these things are connected and you can touch all of those things and I'm saying that because as somebody who's a creative director, I feel like everybody's calling themselves a creative director. And I'm like, if you ever notice, if you go and you try to get signed to an agency, the first thing they ask you is, do you know
Mhm.
Adobe Suite? Do you know Illustrator? Have you been
Mhm.
doing this for more than 10 years?
Mhm.
Because and those 10 years you're going to play so many different roles, you're really
Mhm.
going to understand what a creative director is. And it's
Mhm.
not just, oh, it's a great idea for a photo shoot. How are you going to put this together? Where is this going to go? Where's the advertising? What are you selling in this photo shoot? How is it going to be sold? And I
Mhm.
don't think people think about that. So yeah, I just want to piggyback that off of something you said about yourself. I don't even think people then turn around and then go into the specialization of what does your brand do? What do
Mhm.
you do as a brand? And break that down into tiers so you can
Mhm.
go on Monday and talk about streams of income. On Thursday, you're going to talk about grant writing. On this day, you're going to talk about, this particular thing,
And
but
that's
it's still
literally how my newsletter is broken down. All of the different facets of what I am as a brand. So each day my newsletter is broken down into those facets because I have a daily newsletter that goes out. We're gonna call it the what? The daily digest coming next year, right?
oh, that's
But
cute.
yeah, yeah, but it's literally broken down exactly the way you were talking about. And it's something that I try to teach my clients. So I work primarily, for those of you who don't know, primarily with nonprofits and social enterprises. I do work with for-profit businesses, but my main focus is nonprofits and social enterprises. And even in working with them, and that's why I'm always so interested in branding, is because I talk to them a lot about branding. And as nonprofits don't think that that's a component that they need to encompass in their overall business goal,
Yes.
right? And I'm like, you do, because when I see the pink ribbon, I know who it belongs
When I
to.
tell you we were on the same wavelength, because I was just about to say, when you see that pink ribbon, no matter
Yes,
where you're at, you be like, that's
right.
Susan. You don't even say
Yes,
her whole name. You be like, it's
mhm,
Susan. You
right.
already kind of know. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So I think that a lot of nonprofits need to get into branding. They need to solidify a brand that is synonymous with the work that they do. They need to have all of the things, the logo, the things that normal people think about just as branding, the logo, the colors, the messaging. And I've been talking a lot about the messaging. What is the tone of your message? What are you saying to people? What do you want them to do? That type of stuff. I think that a lot of nonprofits fall short, and that's where they're not getting organic donors coming to them on a steady basis because they don't have a strong brand identity. They
Agreed,
seem to
agreed.
fade
And
into the background with everybody else.
no, agreed. And I would say, as somebody who is more on the front end, so I'm more on that front end part of working with somebody in your brand.
Mhm.
And I think that is a huge key component, that a lot
Mhm.
of people don't have the strong symbolism
Mhm.
to tie back to their brand. So whether it's a ribbon, whether it is clown nose, because I remember Ronald McDonald, you saw that
Right.
clown nose, you
Yeah.
automatically went to the house. So and
Mhm.
then all of their commercials were about helping kids who had problems to take care. Like, I already know it because you see the commercials to the messaging to the home is all the
Mhm.
same thing. And another thing
Mhm.
I would tell nonprofits or people who have a brand, even associated with a holiday.
Right. And I have a
Associ-
cost calendar that we do every year. And I'm like telling my clients, hey, look at this cost calendar and see where you can cross promote, what you can hijack. And it's not, I know sometimes it's not the words I use sometimes sound really
no, but
salacious,
you are. That's what you're doing. You're
but
or I call it finding the flow. You're jumping in the
right.
wave. You're jumping in
Find
the
a cause that you
conversation.
can hijack, that you can associate your brand to elevate your brand to the next level because people already have their eyes on that particular cause or that other brand or some news that's happening if you're into that, like hijacking stuff so that you can elevate your brand to the next level. It is a strategy that you have to use as a business owner if you intend to, thrive and be
Right, I
sustainable.
period. And I know
Mhm.
we're staying stuck on this Susan part, but I'm like, yo, it was strategic. Like, the month that
Yes.
she's into it, the ribbon is everywhere. She has a walk. To the point, I think it's September, October. All the
Mhm.
football teams, they have on pink helmets and pink jerk. Like, that's what I'm saying. A part of your brand. How can you interject it? What are other
Mhm.
football teams or sports companies or media companies? Somebody else believes in the same thing you believe in. So
Right.
picking
And
the
I would hear a
color.
lot of nonprofits because I deal with a lot of starting mid-size nonprofits, right? And they'll be like, oh, but they're bigger than me. But they did not start off as bigger than you, right?
Right.
They started off in the same place that you started off in. They understood that they were running a business. And so they operated like a business, right? Because at the end of the day, I'm going to keep saying it, a nonprofit is a business. At the core of a nonprofit, you have a business. And in having a business, you have to operate like a business. So, what did they do? They created plans. They didn't just create the plans and put them down. A lot of the information for a lot of people is up here. And that's why you can't get your brand right, is because all of the information is housed inside your head and not
And
written
it
down.
can't.
We need to put pen to paper, keyboard to computer, whatever you want to call it, but it needs to be physically written in black and white. And it is a fluid document that will change consistently as your brand grows, as you bring team members on, as things happen within your business, you're going to have to change some of the strategies that you take. But to go back to Susan G. Komen Foundation, they understood it was a sister who started her sister died, I think, if I'm not mistaken, of cancer, and she decided, hey, she wanted to push this forward. I want to say, I could have the story wrong, forgive me if I do, but anyway, it was just a normal person, a normal everyday person, and
Listen.
she decided she wanted to, I guess, do some connecting with politicians to get certain things changed. She met people, she pitched her thoughts and ideas, and it grew into this multi-million dollar non-profit foundation with a social enterprise arm to it. So that's why they have all the merch, and they do all of these other things because they grew it into a successful business. Nonprofit does not mean no profit. And you got to get that part out of your brand. A lot of people go into nonprofits thinking that they're going to get grants because they're a nonprofit. So they're going to start this nonprofit and immediately they're going to get grants and they're going to give everything away for free. That's not what a nonprofit is. Goodwill is a nonprofit, right? Goodwill is also a social enterprise, right? The reason they have the, was it flea market, whatever you will call it, secondhand shop, is so that they can generate monies. That's how they're able to do a lot of the things they do grants, do allow people to come in and have office space. All of those things is because they have a business model. So you can either become a hybrid. So you have to decide where you want your brand to go. All of this is still in branding, right? So even though it sounds like I'm talking nonprofit business, it still comes back to your branding
And
and your
branding.
marketing, right? Where do you actually want your brand to grow? What type of nonprofit do you want to become? How big of a nonprofit do you want to
What do you
become?
want it to
And then you
become?
need to figure out what it is that you need to do in order to get there, right? And
Yeah.
this means shaking a lot of hands and kissing a lot of babies. You have to become sociable. And if you're not a social person, you have to hire someone who
And that's
is
what I
a
was doing.
social
So
person
true.
to go out and do all of this outreach to help you to build the brand.
Agreed. 110%. I don't even have anything to say. That was 100 because that was so factual and it was so clean. It was right to the point. And I think
Mhm,
that's exactly what people are missing in branding. It is a long term game.
mhm,
It's a long term game. Like the same way people are starting today, people are quitting tomorrow. So it is a long term game. So
mhm.
you can partner with a company today and they go out of business tomorrow. And
Yeah.
you have to still, you know what I mean, come up with a different strategy of people that you're going to target and that you're going to connect to. And I really, again, I don't think people understand, especially in America, because we're so microwave, like we got to have it now. I want to be a brand today. Oh my
Mhm.
goodness, y'all, I just did my brand packaging and I'm a brand. I'm like,
Yeah.
every brand is a business, but not every business is a brand.
I like that.
No,
Can
I
you
say
explain
no,
that
that's
to the people? What does that actually mean?
I say it a lot. So
Mhm,
every brand is a business. So that
mhm,
means that they built up their business and they were
mhm,
consistent long enough that they
mhm.
got recognized for doing what it is that they're doing. Every
Correct.
business Every
Mhm.
business is not a brand because they just stayed a business. They
Right. They
didn't
didn't do the
focus on the
work.
long term strategy.
Mhm,
They
mhm,
focused on maintaining. So every day
mhm.
we're going to get up, we're going to open. So a great example is your mom, the corner store. Do you know the name of the corner store besides corner store?
Or the bodega.
You don't know the
Yeah.
name.
Mhm,
You don't even probably know the same people who run it.
mhm,
The prices can go up whenever they want to go up. They can
mhm.
shift it however they want to go up. But if you think about McDonald's, you don't care where you go with McDonald's. You can go here, you can go to North Carolina. McDonald's is still going to be McDonald's. They're going to have the
Right.
same outline, they're going to have the same type of service, and they're going to be consistent.
Mhm.
Consistent. So that's what I'm saying. You can be in business and sell a product, but how do people know you?
Right.
How do you want people to know you?
Mhm.
How do people identify you within their life? Because every brand has a place in a person's life. Are you
Mhm.
their aunt? Are you their family member? And the reason I bring up McDonald's, somebody may not even eat McDonald's, but
Right.
I feel like if you're American, you probably have some type of core relationship with McDonald's because you
Mhm.
were a little kid. You got your good grade. What did your mom say? Let's go take you to
Let's go
McDonald's,
to
and you can run
McDonald's.
over here. So it became a treat
Yeah.
that you and your mom and your family could sit down and have
Mhm,
McDonald's together. To the
mhm.
point, McDonald's changed their whole menu because more of parents were saying they weren't eating it because it wasn't healthy. So they
Mhm.
introduced the wraps, the vegan stuff, so the family could stay together and eat. So even if you're not a McDonald's person, it still
Yeah.
gives you kid friendly. So it pulls you into them as a family. So
Mhm,
again, you may not like it, but you're going to probably stop and get it for your kid.
mhm,
And your
mhm.
kid has a core memory of, I did something great. I got a McDonald's thing. I did something. So they become that way. We talked about Auntie Tabitha Brown. How can she talk about this, and
Mhm,
still, excuse me, and people still love her the same? It's
mhm,
because she took the identity of an aunt. What does your
mhm,
aunt do? She talks to you about everything.
mhm,
And I think
mhm.
that's what Tabitha Brown has been great at doing.
Yeah, and still being relatable. Absolutely. Yeah. Um, I think that does it for me. I don't know. Do you have anything else that you want to talk about?
No,
Yeah.
no, that does it for me. I think it was just a good layout of what branding is and the
Mhm,
longevity of it.
mhm, mhm, mhm. Oh, and we're going to be doing, for anybody else watching, we're going to be doing a live, what is it called? Branding audit.
Yeah, we didn't even come up with a name. We was just
Yeah,
telling
we didn't come
people.
up with a name yet. But we're going to be doing some live branding audits for for-profit businesses and nonprofit businesses. So if you are a for-profit business or a nonprofit business and you would like us to audit your brand live, this is something that costs us about what, $1,000? Is that what you charge for
Right,
it? Yeah, so
right.
about $1,000. We'll do it for you free on live. If you want us to, drop us a link, a comment, sorry, in the comment section, and we will get back to you because we want to start doing that sometime maybe this week. We'll do one a week. So maybe you'll be that lucky person, right? So drop us some information below. You can follow me at Tracy V Allen on most platforms. If you just type in Tracy V Allen, you can follow me. And Londyn Nikole, you can follow her on most platforms with the same thing. That's
Yeah,
LODYNNIKK,
LOL.
not a C, a KOLE. Right? So you can follow her on most platforms as well. And we are excited to just keep doing these daily discussions about business, all aspects. We're going to go through, I mean, we've been talking a lot about branding right now because I think this is a great time for people to get their brand identity together, especially coming up to this shopping season, right? This is a great time to get your brand in front of people and get people to identify with your brand message, and the look and feel of your brand. So that's one of the reasons we were talking a lot about branding, but we're going to talk about all aspects of business, but we do want to do those audits for you. So that's going to be another segment of the show, the daily show. So if you are interested in getting your brand audited for free live, then drop a comment in the comment section and we will definitely hit you up, or hit us up in the inbox because I may miss some of the comments, but if you inbox us, either of us, we will definitely get it and get back to you. Any
Oh,
last
great.
words?
That was it. If you are struggling, I think Tracy probably kind of missed this. This is the end
Mhm.
of the year. Everybody's focused on making money. So Black Friday is coming up. If you are stuck before Black Friday, hit
Mhm.
Tracy up. Tracy is really good at helping you sit there and navigate your streams of income. But if you are a nonprofit or a social enterprise, you should be doing fundraising right now.
Yep.
Sorry, no, sorry. No, you like
Oh,
like
she found
Tessa.
my
Here
book
we
again,
go.
right?
So right. So it's like, if not, Tracy does have this great book. It's completely laid out. It's about fundraising. Let me be very clear what
Yeah.
I'm saying. If you are a personal brand too, you still have some type of expenditures. You still have some type of something you're building that needs money, whether it's a fashion brand, whether it's a
Mhm.
makeup brand, whether it's anything along that line. Well, even as a nonprofit, you need money for something. Fundraising is a great way to do it. It's a
Exactly.
great way.
Exactly.
It should
And
be
fundraisings are not just for nonprofits, they're
that's what I'm saying.
for-profit businesses too. So
It
don't
should
think that just because you are a for-profit business that you cannot
right.
fundraise. I work with fundraisers for both for-profits and nonprofits. Yes.
I'm about to say, because Krispy Kreme is about making money, but them boxes be everywhere,
Yep.
everywhere. So
Right now, Krispy
and
Kreme
it's-
has a $13 box. One donut, $13.
yes, it's supposed
So
to
you
be
can
like
only get
for
it
the
in
teacher
Times
of the
Square.
year.
Yeah, it's
Yes,
the Apple. Yeah. I think you can
see,
only
so
get it at the Times Square location though.
supporting teachers, supporting
Mhm.
education. But again, they'll sit there and they about them. They have them boxes out there. They about
Yep.
fundraising hard.
Yep. Mhm.
So yeah, so if you're struggling with that, just because I feel like this is the time where you're seeing everybody out, you're seeing the Santa Claus out ringing the bell, you should be out
Mhm.
the same way that Santa is giving gifts, you should be giving gifts as well, or
Mhm.
asking for some type of money to give gifts to your community that
Correct.
you're serving and that you're trying to sit
Correct.
here and help.
You can be an
That was my
ambassador
position.
to an organization. You don't have to ask them to be an ambassador, but it will always be best if you have a conversation with whoever the executive director or founder of the organization is and become an ambassador instead of having to be
And that was
asked.
the
If you
other.
really want to give back to your community, that's a really good way to do it. Gather all your employees together, find out what the nonprofit organization needs, and see if you can encourage the people you work with to donate.
And that's what we are going to try to do in our first in-person thing. We want to link brands, like personal brands, with nonprofits who need
Nonprofits.
brand ambassadors.
Mhm.
So when we have our first touch base and Mixer, that's what we want to do. We want to pair, again, personal brands with
Mhm.
nonprofits that you can sit there, because a lot of us as personal brands, we can go out here and sell, we can advertise, we can let people know,
Mhm.
and you want to give back, you want to help out, you want to find a cause. This would be
Yeah.
perfect for you to come meet organizations, to hear them talk
Mhm.
about their brand, how they want to reach out, who they need help with reaching out, so you can jump on their team as a brand ambassador,
Yeah.
to then be a part of the bigger picture
And
and
to
really
that
make
end,
it.
we're going to be starting a nonprofit directory. So if you want to be a part of that directory where
That's
we're going to
cool.
be able to show it to a bunch of different people, hit me up in the comment section. I don't have the link to drop right this minute, but you can hit me up in the comment section or in my inbox, and I will definitely get you the application so you can get yourself on that nonprofit
That's
directory
good.
or social impact directory, because you can be a social enterprise or a social entrepreneur as well. You don't just have to be a nonprofit. And
That's
maybe
dope.
tomorrow I'll go into what those three different things mean, right? Nonprofit, social enterprise, and social entrepreneur. But if you identify as any of those three, you want to get onto the nonprofit directory.
Okay.
Again, drop a comment in the comment section, inbox me, but I'll have the link ready for you guys tomorrow so that you can sign up. Yeah.
That's dope.
Mhm. All right. Until tomorrow. Bye.